Yeah. G Leaguers. I call y'all the Texas two-time. That's really how I feel. I call y'all the Texas two-time. We are doing our really second podcast for the league. I figured it would be best to go ahead and get this out. Just going to turn the sound down really quick. I'm going to tell y'all the same thing I let the other league know today. I am not sure if you can hear me or not. I have no clue. I have no clue if you can hear me speak on these shows. I will not find out until later. So that means the only way that I will know is if you communicate it. Communication will be required in order for me to know if you guys can hear the show or not. However, I figured I'd go ahead and do a show. We are in week 12. We are rocking so far. Obviously, we lost a player or two. This is the G League Part 2. We've got some old faces in here, people that, hadn't played in a while, but I figured they'd get back in Madden and been consistent. And then we got some players over from the, I don't say the first league, I just say Texas Heat. And it's been fun up to this point. You guys have been active, you've been playing your games, and I'm just going to tell you, for me, that's all I can ask for. All I can ask for is that you're active, you play your games, and you get your games in, and we don't have a whole lot of issue. This show is going to be short and sweet. A lot of my shows will be short and sweet. That's really kind of how the goal of the plan is operating going forward, is having these shows and making sure that we at least get some kind of content out there. It doesn't have to be anything crazy whatsoever, but we are going to talk about the league up to this point. As you can see, we have in the standings, we have been undefeated. Yeah, he's feeling really good at 12-0. We have 11-1 Kung Fu Kenny. Definitely balling, looking like he's on the verge of making a potential bowl himself. And then we got a few users right below, sitting in that, what you'd probably consider in a top 5 or top 10, however you want to pull it, or however you would want to go about it. But we do have some guys playing well, Seahawks playing well, Jets, Chargers, some faces that I know that I'm aware of playing well. Packers is a new user, a new face to me, same as Kung Fu Kenny. He's originally started over here with us, kind of transferred around, I believe. I believe he's playing over in Legends League and a few others right now, but playing well. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the standings. I'm going to give a breakdown of where each division is, how I see things to fit, and then we're going to close the show. I've been in a transition of moving, transition of getting my family back in a better position as far as day-to-day activity. And so with that being said, you didn't see a lot of activity from me when it came from a standpoint of just communication within the chat, or even just doing shows. But the communication or the goal was to absolutely do a show for the league. And what I am going to do for this league in regards to shows is we're going to have prizes involved. That way we can impact engagement. So we are going to post this in the chat. Let's see. I'm going to get this posted in the chat so everyone can see it. And then we're going to do prizes coming for... Basically, if you're listening to the show, you have an opportunity of success. All right, so I got that posted. So basically, there's going to be a prize for those that are listening over the next 3 to 5 minutes. That is correct. 3 to 5 minutes. If you are listening to the show, your chances of getting a boost for your team. So we'll see how this all works out. We're going to start over into the standings and look over at the AFC. Let's start in the NFC just because I think it's a little more of an interesting story for us to look at. So starting out, we're going to start over in the NFC North. And I believe the Packers is a user called D-Tub or T-Dub. He's playing well. He's 8-2. And then, of course, we've got Bloodshed with those Lions at 7-3. We have Colton at 8-4. And we have Vikings user sitting at 5-7. And pretty much this division is actually pretty close. I mean, I couldn't tell you really who's going to win the division up to this point because there's been a lot of playing, not a lot of communication or banter between users. I'm going to go with the Packers, I believe, to win the division. I'm not confident in Colton just yet. He's kind of communicated some issues with that team, with those Bears, but he's playing well, playing defense. And, of course, Bloodshed with those Lions. It's possible to see all three get into the playoffs, but I do think the Packers takes the division. NFC South, we have the Bucks at 4-6, the Saints 4-7, Falcons 3-8, and the Panthers 1-9. I mean, this is just crazy. A really bad user is going to make it. I repeat, someone that is not good at the game is going to make it into the playoffs. And I love that. I love the fact that that is a thing. I love the fact that there is a group of guys all not playing well and still could possibly end up in the same position of which ultimately could be success in getting into the playoffs. I couldn't tell you who's going to make it out of this division. What I can tell you is that it is absolutely ugly. It is ugly. It is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. 4 straight teams all playing bad. I'm going to lean in favor of the Saints just because newer user, and I think he can play just a little bit. So we'll see how this all plays out in the end. I'm going to go with the Saints user. NFC East, we have Kung Fu Kenny 11-1 playing balling. He's pretty much balling in every league that he's in. And then we have Loso with those Eagles at 7-3. And then, of course, we got the approved GOAT, or at least he considers himself a GOAT. Dallas Cowboys playing with the Dallas at 5-5, and a 1-10 Commanders team that is most likely going to be going into the offseason to figure out some stuff to get that team right. Kung Fu Kenny is going to have this one with no problem. What we are going to do, we're getting over into this NFC West. We have 7-4, which is Ivan playing well with those Seahawks. Kind of a transition for Ivan in regards to going from a team like, I believe, in Texas Heat. I don't remember the exact team. I know he's the Condors right now. He's made a bunch of changes. I believe it's originally the Raiders to playing with the Hawks. 49ers 5-6, playing a decent game, or playing decent up to this point. So definitely shout out to him up to this point. And of course, you got myself not having the season I would desire, 4-7 with those Cardinals. And then the 0-10 Rams, obviously a new user that will be transferring, or a new user that's going into the offseason to obviously rebuild those Rams. The AFC North, we have Smitty. I apologize. That's actually been sitting undefeated, 12-0. I've seen a few people play in the Jew League and have incredible seasons. Ben currently sitting undefeated at 12-0. And then we have Ip Man at 6-4 with those Bengals. And then for the Browns, I believe, is DTZ not playing bad. 6-5's got an opportunity of getting into those playoffs. And then a 5-5 Steelers in Olympic. The changes of in this division, there's nothing that's really going to happen. I expect Smitty to I keep saying Smitty because of the two leagues, but what I expect to happen is for Ben to go into the playoffs undefeated and then take his first loss either come division or come conference championship. I can actually see all three of these guys making it. I think it's very possible, but I do think with Olympic being out of town, missing a few games, ultimately it is going to impact him and his success. DTZ still's got a 6-5. You know, nobody's going to take the division, but I do think there's still a chance to see if he creeps in right behind Ip Man to get into the playoffs. The AFC South, we have a 7-3 Titans user. I believe the Titans user is Masur or Masser. I don't want to say Masser because that actually sounds crazy, but I'm just gonna say AJ because that's what's in his name at 7-3. Playing a decent season right now. We have Noah at 8-3, and then we have two users that are pretty much out of it, and Marquise with those Jags and Tristan with those Colts at 4-6. For this division, in my opinion, I do think that the Titans take it. I can see one loss for the Texans. And so we'll see how this plays out. I can see one or two losses for the Texans, but I do think I'm actually going to go with not Tristan. I'm going to go with the Titans user to finish this out and take the division. AFC East, 8-3 with those Jets is an accomplishment, and let me tell you, Tugboat is tugboating. He is playing well, not having the same out that he had the first time around with this team. And then we have our Dolphins user at 7-4 on a 2-game losing streak, but still playing good enough to, I think, to still kind of compete and possibly get into a playoff picture. And then we have the Patriots 4-7. Smitty did join over late, but he ultimately did join. Not sure if he's going to make the playoffs this first season. We'll see how things pan out. If Smitty makes the playoffs, I do think it would be really fun to see what the outcome of those games are. And then, of course, with the Bills, Kevin Freeman. Obviously, I did talk to Kevin. He's got some things going on. Once he gets back into a better position, I expect his game to change. AFC West, we have the Chargers at 7-4, and that is just Blaze himself. And then, of course, with the Broncos, we have the Mile High Game, Reap. Reap is playing well, 6-5. Looking a lot different than what I've seen in other leagues with users that have had the Broncos. Still got a chance to get into that playoff picture. And I got to tell you, I got to give it to Rico because he's at least won 4 games. Hell, I didn't expect him to win 3, even having the Chiefs. But he's won 4 games. He's 4-6. He's on a 4-game losing streak. How you play bad with Mahomes, I really don't know. But ultimately, 4-6 is where he sits. And then, of course, the Raiders is a new user that took over that team. We'll see how his season pans out in the end. That is going to be the standings. I do not think there needs to be a change in regards to a top 10. I think it's pretty standard up to this point. Obviously, the best points for in the league up to this point is just Blaze with those Chargers. And then, of course, points against the best defense is going to be the Eagles, which there shouldn't be any shock there. I'm going to go ahead and end the show. Again, like I said, these are going to be quick hits for this show. If you are listening to the show, you need to DM me from the G League. If you caught the show, DM me your favorite NFL player. You got to DM me your favorite NFL player, and then you also got to DM me the team you currently play with. All right, guys, that's the show. We're going to have a few more of these throughout the year, but ultimately I hope you guys enjoy the content that is brought out. This is something that is based on a space of volunteer time. I volunteer this time because I have it, and I enjoy not only just playing the league, but ultimately connecting with as many guys that enjoy the game as possible. So, again, you're going to send me your favorite team, your favorite player in the NFL, and the team that you currently play for. If you send that over, you get a +1 attribute coming your way. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy your the rest of your night. Stay safe. I got a game here in a little bit. And other than that, I'll talk to you soon, man. Peace.